Good morning and welcome to Forum. I'm J. Randall Harvey. On the telephone with us this morning is Heather Kendrick, who is a communications specialist at Entergy Arkansas. Heather, how are you this morning?
I am doing well. How are you?
We're doing great. Now, we've been having a lot of rain down here, kind of lowering the temperatures just a little bit, but you said it's sunshine up in Little Rock and you're hoarding all the sunshine, so give us a little bit back, okay?
Correct, yes. Well, and we just are ready for the rain and the storms to kind of move out, just because it seems like a literal dark cloud is kind of over the state and over really all of the South.
It has been crazy. Yeah, we've, in a way, though, it's really great because, around August, we're going to be wishing we had some more of these showers around. Temperatures probably getting back up into the mid to upper 90s. And, of course, you know what that means. Everybody's cranking those air conditioners down. And so that's what we're going to talk about today a little bit, because Entergy Arkansas has some energy efficiency tips. It's always a good idea to, look at ways that you can lower the cost and the demands, because sometimes those demands from energy, gets pretty high. And,
sure, yes.
Yeah. So I think that, one of the things that we always hear about is that thermostat.
Yes.
And I know you recommend the thermostat 78 or higher, the highest comfortable temperature. And I've tried this because I always thought, 78 I would just burn up. So I got mine up to 76 during the day, and with a fan or two going at low to medium speed, it wasn't bad.
Right. It really is just a comfort level and a preference. And the other thing that the last several years, things that have been really great are these programmable thermostats or smart thermostats. And so you can go in and preset them. So, for example, if you had yours at 76, you could set it to cool to that during the day, but then maybe you had people over for dinner or things like that, and it will automatically adjust. You can set it according to the clock. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is that I love is you can, if you're just having a day like a couple weeks ago when those temperatures were in the 100s, you can just notch it down and then it will cool right then. So it has an override. It's very user-friendly and things like that. But just for those times that you're really not thinking about it or not needing it, it can self-regulate for times when more people are home or when maybe you want it cooler. Sometimes people like it really cool when they sleep or things like that, and it can kind of self-regulate that.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that I've heard people talk about the most is because somewhere I think I read like you'd actually raise it a little bit at night to was it like 82 or something like that? And I thought there's just no way.
Right.
I don't know who came up with those numbers, but I'm like, I just couldn't do it. But so many times you'll hear people talk about, well, turn the air conditioner down a little bit. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. When we turn the fan on, because they'll be sitting there and the ceiling fan won't be on or anything like that. And, the ceiling fan, obviously without a compressor and all that, takes a lot less electricity. And you can get very cool. You get a kind of a wind chill factor going, I guess, there, and can make you feel a lot more comfortable.
Right. Those really can make a difference. Of course, depending on the size of the room, the height of the ceiling, kind of the type of fan. But yes, then they say to have the blades running counterclockwise in the summer to kind of maximize that airflow. But definitely in bedrooms and living rooms, if you're running that ceiling fan, that can kind of maximize that energy efficiency in that area.
Yes, they do a great job. And now, so let's run through a few other things that people can do, because I was noticing it says that on this paper I have here that during the warmer months, cooling costs make up more than 55% of your average bill, and that's a pretty good chunk. And during the summertime, I mean, you're trying to cool it down 20, 25 degrees. And then you think about during the wintertime and you're trying to warm it up 40 or 50 degrees. So,
Yes.
we're always in between those things. But I think one of the things, changing air filters, and how often do you think, is there a particular amount of time that it should go by before you change an air filter, or just as needed? What do you think?
So it really depends on the type of unit that you have in your home or your business. But I think checking them, some are monthly, some are every 3 months. But I think probably a best practice for that is to set some kind of a calendar alert on your phone, a reminder, a Post-it note, whatever you want, and check those at least every couple of months. They may not necessarily need to be changed every couple of months, but just to check those. Because I think where they stop becoming efficient is when we don't check them and then we don't know if they need to be replaced. But just kind of get in the habit of whatever that time frame is for your unit. And then it's really a great idea to have the unit serviced. Have someone come and check it out and make sure that all the intricate parts and hoses and things like that are all operating optimally, because that can really make a difference in how much energy you are using in your home if everything is working in peak condition.
Absolutely. Now I'm just sitting here while we were talking about that, and I actually don't remember the last time I changed the filter on my unit, and it hasn't been that long. But
right.
I do change it. I had a friend who she was living in a mobile home, and she told me that she'd gone on vacation or something, and somebody was, sitting at the house for her, and they changed the air conditioning filter. And she said, "I didn't even know you were supposed to change them." I'm like, "Oh no!" And she said it was rather dirty. I can imagine. And then you just start seeing how much air that blower can actually push whenever it can get through all that stuff, and that'll definitely save you some money too. So
right. I don't know if it's a psychological effect or not, but when we change ours, I always feel like it's a tad bit cooler, or like I can feel that air a little bit better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're trying to do. So we've talked, you get the programmable thermostats, using some fans to help cool off, close those blinds and shades and curtains. And then they recommend turning off the air conditioner vents in rooms that aren't being used too, because it pushes more flow into the rooms that you are using.
Right.
Now, I know a couple of years ago, Entergy had a program where they would come by and they would actually blow the insulation into the attics, and we had that done at our house, and I actually could tell a difference. It wasn't like just like night and day, but you could certainly tell the difference, and it was cooler. Does Entergy still have programs of that nature?
Yes, we do, and those are detailed on our website. There are all sorts of programs from bill assistance, if people need help paying their bills, especially in the summers when those can be high. And then we also offer things like energy audits, where people will come out to your home and kind of look at things and see, well, you have this and that's taking a lot of energy, and just kind of look at making sure that your home is as efficient as possible.
Yeah, they would probably come by when I'm watching a movie or something. I got the FM radio turned up nice and loud, and they'd be like, "Well, that's using a lot of power." I'm like, "Yeah, I got it cranked up,
Right.
Because you got to watch those movies.
And they say, and I'm looking around my office as we have this conversation, but even small things that don't use that much power, if they're plugged in constantly, I'm thinking of like a phone charger or a lamp, any of those things that you can unplug and not keep plugged in constantly are going to just help save that little bit of energy, which can all add up. Laptop chargers and things that when they're not charging, that sometimes we just leave those plugged into the outlet.
And as you were talking about that, I'm looking around the studio that I'm in, and there's two monitors in here, the radio console itself, 2 computers, and then all this equipment and stuff. And I always joke on the radio, wouldn't you love to have to pay for our transmitter power every month during the summer months? It's crazy. And we have like 5-ton air units that are, running almost constantly out there. But, you just can't let them overheat some things. But you're right. There are a lot of things we probably could do to reduce that power. And taking care of things around your house, the ductwork, the cracks, and windows. If you need to, maybe it's time to replace some of those windows too, because those single pane windows, man, that heat will come right through it. And as we mentioned, close the drapes or whatever, and that'll help a lot too. And then, as you mentioned, myentergy.com, ton of stuff on there that help the everyday person save a little money.
Absolutely. One thing I heard this week that I thought was a great, just easy, user-friendly tip is to replace 5 light bulbs in your home with the LED bulbs, or, you could pick 1 or 2, but just making those little improvements like that. They suggested in this article that you look at the bulbs that are used the most. So maybe in the rooms that you're in your home the most. So your kitchen or your living room or your bedroom, things like that. But absolutely, we have lots of tips on there, lots of great information on there on the website.
Yeah, that's true. I was noticing because, if you go to a regular incandescent light and touch it after it's been on for a little while, the way that thing makes light is because it is inefficient. That's the whole way it makes light, and it gets hot. But if you touch an LED bulb, it's just room temperature, and it's much more efficient. You're right. You can get like 40 watts of light for like only 15 watts or something like that actually being used, and so that makes a lot of sense.
Sure, and those can be an investment. So obviously, most of us aren't going to go out and buy all new bulbs for our entire house, but just a few at a time can add up and help.
Absolutely, yeah. And also outside on houses, like we speak about the air conditioners a lot because they do use a lot of electricity. But boy, you can't be without them. But those outside units, you got to make sure they stay clean too. Not only the filters inside, but the coils. You can go by and get some of that coil cleaner, spray on there, and it dissolves that dirt. Just rinse it off, and it makes a big difference, and can help keep you cool. And that's what we all really strive for in the summer. So, do you have any idea? I know you guys have a lot of customers in Entergy Arkansas and also down in Entergy Louisiana, as we cover a lot of the parishes there. Any idea how much power in the course of a month during the summer Entergy actually produces, or how much we use in an average month? How many kilowatts or I guess
I do not know that right off the top of my head. That would be a great number to find out, and I can certainly find out for you.
I bet you don't even measure it in kilowatts. I bet it's more like megawatts or whatever it would be.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot of power.
Yes. One thing I just find interesting is that, of course, Entergy Arkansas is a partner, and Entergy Louisiana, all of the operating companies are a part of MISO. So they're kind of like a puppet master in the grid, and they, we need this much power for this day, and this is the forecast, so we need this much power for this day, and kind of, to use a radio analogy, for the control room, those knobs, like turn this one up, turn this one down, that sort of thing. But it really is the power generation and power delivery process is very intricate, and they do so much analysis and just adjustments on that from day to day, and obviously in the seasons.
Yeah, I can imagine it would be a lot of up and down on that. So we got about a minute left. Now, if somebody, I know the IHEAP or the LIHEAP program, you can find that on accessarkla.com. That's our website, and we always have that up there. And of course, you can go to the myentergy.com. And if somebody wants to call and get some ideas on things, or would you recommend the website, of course? But if they wanted to call you, is there a number that people can reach out to for Entergy?
Yes, so they can call 1-800-ENTERGY, and they will be able to select from a menu of options like that. But the LIHEAP applications actually are now available online. That's fairly new development, which I think has been helpful for a lot of customers. But yes, if you call that 1-800-ENTERGY number, they can route you, and you can speak to a customer representative, or also just choose from a menu of options depending on what kind of information that you need.
Heather Kendrick, communication specialist with Entergy Arkansas. Thank you for joining us this morning, and hopefully we can all stay cool.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me. And yes, let's hope that those 100-degree temperatures that we were having, we don't get those back. We can have some summer heat, but that triple digits gets a little dicey.